Oh yeah, we're live. Okay. Hey everyone. Welcome to our live session with Rukia Khan. And this is like pretty exciting for me because yesterday we could not do it, and I don't know for what reasons, but that's okay. I mean, what ends well when ends well or something. But so we are having right now the live session, and I'm here with this lovely person who I really adore, someone I look forward to, someone who is so motivational, someone who's so dedicated to what she does, because that's something that I really admire about her. Like, people don't have consistency. That's what in our generation, that's what I see. But her, she is so dedicated with what she does. She's on time, she's in on schedule, everything, and that's something I love about her. So thank you so much, Rukia, for joining in today and being a part of this live session where I am hosting you, whereas it's the other round all the time.
So much fun. Thank you, Tanya. And sorry about yesterday, guys. Apparently, we can't do collaborative Instagram lives in the region that I am right now. So that was the glitch. But where there's a will, there's a way. And we just thought we put our heads together yesterday and we thought, why not? The conversation is important. And so let's just bring your tribe over here and wherever. But it's a place to meet and a place to have this conversation. So thank you, Tanya, for hosting me.
And this feels like so amazing, this platform of yours where you host people on an everyday and minded guy. She hosts people every day, maybe. And when she does that, I mean, I'm the one who's hosting on her channel. So this feels like a privilege.
Thank you. See, there's a
Thank you
blessing
so
in
much.
everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing that. And I mean, this conversation is more about where I want people to know about your journey as well from my viewers. And I mean, I'm not sure if people have known from your viewers' side point of view as well. With your journey, the way you from where have you come to now, where you are and where you're going to go. I mean, I know this personally for a little bit, and this conversation is going to help me know more about it as well. So, are we ready for it?
Yes, let's do this.
Okay. So, I mean, Rukia, where in your life, in your place, right? Where are you? If someone has to ask you, Rukia, uh, what are you feeling in terms of, this is a very tough time for all of us. This pandemic has just changed our lives in such, tremendous way. Then, if we have to ask you, at what emotional stage are you at right now? What would you answer for people?
Tanya, it might come as a surprise, but for me, the pandemic came as a blessing.
Mm.
Because I set out on my coaching journey as in officially with ICF only like days before the lockdown and days before the pandemic hit us. So I've used this time to work aggressively on my coaching hours, sharpening my axe, doing things from the 100 hours of ACC to the 500 hours of PCC, and just being very, very focused. I had set myself a target, which was absolutely crazy. And then I realized, no, this is not how I want to race to the end. I want to make sure that with each coaching session, I'm getting better. With each conversation, there's something that I'm discovering about myself, about the other person, and I'm sure there's more to it than just the hours. And this whole lockdown period has been very effective for me. On the contrary,
Mm.
so yes.
Okay. I mean, we should tell viewers about this as well, like, because like Rukia is like an ICF certified coach, like coach, where she's just right now actually completed 500 hours of like PCC, which she completed by the month of October, which is like huge because I, being an ACC coach, I know how challenging it is, to even fulfill your ACC 100 hours, and you were here completing 500 hours. The way you said itself, like, it was a very challenging task that you had put up for yourself. Why was this whole urge to do this challenging task on yourself? You can have taken it even easily as well.
I know myself. Let's just put it that way. I know myself. So for me, it's like if it is something that really excites me, if it is something that really makes me, push myself outside of the comfort zone, that for me would feel like more of an achievement, more satisfactory. So that's why I said, okay, I'm going to do these 500 hours. I originally set it up for around September, week 1 of September, but obviously that didn't happen. So I purposefully slowed down myself and then completed the last lap with a lot of more focus, with a lot of more intention of doing it better, taking it forward more progressively. Yeah.
You as a coach, because you're a coach, and I would really like to ask you this question because this is something I would love to understand from you as well. Sometimes we youngsters, and not even youngsters, actually nowadays everyone, they just feel when they challenge themselves more, when they push themselves more towards a certain deadline, maybe that's when things are going better. They don't
Mhm.
like to like, probably put themselves down for a bit. They just settle down, rest for a while, and then take it more further. People nowadays, youngsters, I can definitely vouch it for myself. Like we really like things when are more challenging. We feel that the results of those are going to be more fruitful. As a coach perspective, what would you like to comment on this whole notion that we have nowadays for ourselves?
That things have to be easy or things have to be challenging.
Like, I mean, we personally feel like it should be challenging, and that's when the fruits are going to be better. Do you think
Mm.
that's how things are supposed to be for us?
Um, I wouldn't know. I'm not a youngster.
No,
Young
but
at
as
heart,
a coach's
perhaps.
point of view, I'm asking you those questions.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That yeah. Uh, well, I don't really think things have to be challenging. I think things have to be more satisfying. I'd
Hmm.
place more points for things to be satisfactory than to be challenging. If a task satisfies you, like fully quenches that thirst of doing something, then I believe a person would like to take that next step forward and do it. Of course, challenges are great, but the thing with challenges are sometimes you kind of lose your steam. Sometimes you
Hmm.
feel like I can't do this anymore, or what am I going to get at the end of it? People tend to give up. But the
Hmm.
thing is, if you're doing something that's satisfactory, and if you know why you're doing what you're doing, then
Hmm.
the chances of you pushing forward, going on with it consistently, putting in the extra effort, the extra hours, working late, feeling fully refreshed are higher.
Correct. Correct. That's so true because as I would like to give this example because I used to feel like literally I used to feel this at one point of time that if I am pushing myself even more, if I am doing more amount of work, if I'm punishing myself, I used to feel like I'm punishing myself, then my work results are going to be better. But then it's actually all about the satisfaction and the love that you have towards the work that you're doing rather than punishing yourself in a way that it pushes you to complete it just for the heck of it. I mean, that's not what all of us want, right?
True, true.
Correct.
That's
Okay.
definitely
So,
correct.
so a question to you, and yes, I would like to tell the viewers as well if you want to ask us anything, if anything that you would like to put me to Rukia, a question, please post it out and I will ask that question to her. Okay. So, coaching, how did this coaching come to you? You said that this was a blessing probably, and you've been able to complete APCC hours. Like, was it something that you'd always thought for yourself?
Okay, so last year I was on a learning program. I learned with the Badri Social Entrepreneurship Program. We learned about social enterprises and organizations and stuff, and we had to do the SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And one of the weaknesses that I had identified for myself was the fact that I'm not an ICF certified coach, because I realized that a lot of organizations regionally and internationally appreciate that shiny badge that you get from ICF. Uh, you know, that is valued, that is kind of recognized. And I said, okay, I am a master practitioner of neuro linguistic programming, and that
Right.
does entitle me to coach and train and all of that. I'm certified, of course, by the American Board of NLP. However, here is something that if I did add on, would obviously add to my credibility, would obviously open doors for me in the corporate space, and would help me reach out to larger number of an audience. Plus, I wanted to understand what exactly is how would coaching add. It's like adding another feather to your cap and saying that okay, this is something as well that I do. So that's pretty much how coaching came to me, that awareness that this is what is missing, this is a gap, and I'd love to kind of bridge it. And so that's where ICF and coaching came about for me.
This is about ICF, but what about general, like coaching? When did you actually started like with NLP practitioner as well? You are already a certified coaching
Okay.
people.
Uh,
When did this originality of coaching come to you?
Originality of coaching. So I believe each one of us is a coach, whether it's, a youngster that you're watching a baby play and idle away forever. Even that is a coach for you, because they're teaching you to be absolutely unbothered by everything and anything that's going on, to live in a world of your own. So you learn.
Everything that you said right now. It's so true.
Exactly, like everybody's a coach. The guy selling tea down the road is also a coach, because he lives in his own world, he has his own values, and he comes from a space of, whatever he's doing in his world. There's so much to learn from every experience.
Hmm.
However, to answer your question, got into the coaching space in 2005, and
Hmm.
it kind of, I accelerated on that space in 2016 when I did my TEDx talk. That's when I started doing my mindset training workshops, sessions at universities, for students, for educators. That's when it started, 2015.
Hmm. 2015 is when it started, and it's just been 5 years for your coaching journey.
Yes.
How has this journey been, Rukia?
It's, if I were to say it had its ups and downs, it would be an understatement, because 2015 was when it started, but when 2017 was when I hit rock bottom as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where these daily lives started. So, well, for people from my circle of genius, they're very well aware of my story. But for your peeps, I'm gonna say, 2017 was when I became an empty nester, when both my children moved on for university. That was also the time when I lost my father. So both these experiences back to back suddenly put me in the space where I didn't want to coach, I didn't want to speak, I didn't want to write. It's that kind of like I come from the world of words, but suddenly it just felt like nothing mattered. No words that you would tell me or I would tell anyone were kind of going to heal me, was what I felt. And so I kind of shut down. If you noticed, guys, if you're new to the page, if you notice, my page is called RK Writes. That's
Correct.
because prior to doing these daily videos, nobody had ever seen me. I'd never done a live, I'd never posted a picture of myself. It was all about the writing, it was all about the thoughts and the conversations I had as Rukaya Khan. So prior to that, nobody had ever seen me. But it came to a point where during a conversation, my son asked me, so Ma, what have you been up to? This was a few months after Papa's passing, and I hadn't been doing much. And I'm sure he was observing from a distance, quite literally, because he was sitting in Australia at the time. And he asked me, "What have you been up to?" And I said, "You can't speak to me like that. I'm your mother. You put your guards up, and you say you want to use your authority card." And he, rightfully, my son, goes, "All that is fine. What about accountability?"
Hmm.
And that's where it struck me, and I said, okay, I'm going to do something about this. So that day I came back home and I went through my page, my Instagram, and that's where I gathered all my quotes and had a list of close to 550 quotes. And I said, okay, how can I utilize this resource that I've kind of accumulated, sentence after sentence, quote after quote, day after day, because this was obviously something that I was building up. And so the daily video started, and as I started speaking to people, something within me started shifting. Something from outside I started receiving, where people were sending me gratitude. I don't know if Martin is still watching. He's messaged us saying greetings, ladies, and he had sent me this really interesting message in last year, where he was in ICU, and earlier, he used to just read my quotes and comment on it. But then, while in ICU, and when I had started my videos, was when he was hospitalized. He says, I would see this lady show up every now and then and wave frantically at me, because I start with a hello, hello. And
Yeah. Correct.
he's so he goes, my mobile was mute because obviously he was in hospital, but he's like, the energy and the conversation and the vibe that I would feel got me curious. And then I started listening to the videos, and they
Mm.
started to feel, and messages like these, people I didn't know messaging me, telling me I'm doing a great job, feeling connected. And
Mm.
so it just some days I would do it for myself, and the days that were difficult for me, I would do it for them, because for me, I'd know that these are people who are waiting to watch. So living on purpose, I guess, was what led to growing outside of that dark space
Hmm.
and going out there and sharing a smile. Not sure if that
So
answers your question, but long,
it
long
does.
answer
It
to a
does. I
very
mean,
right question.
it does in a lot of ways, and it's pretty inspiring to hear all of this. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, the story must be pretty emotional for you, and the way you're sharing it as well. The vibe is all coming here as well, and I feel pretty emotional about it while I'm listening from your end. I mean, was it something that you did out of your comfort zone as well, Rukia? I mean, the way you said that you always used to write and not on the videos. You were never on the videos up front, and I know you're putting out videos every day and you're going live with so many people that even we don't know about. So was it something that you did out of your comfort zone?
Yes, it was definitely outside of my comfort zone. And in those days, my comfort zone was the bed. My comfort zone was I wouldn't want to get out of bed. I was in this space where it felt like, okay, if I'm under the covers, I don't have to face the world. I don't have to
Hmm.
face the empty house. I don't have to get up and want to ache to hear Papa's voice and not be able to do that. For me, it was like very difficult to explain. But
Hmm.
that whole conversation on the bus, I was in Perth at the time. I was in Australia. I was visiting the kids, and that's where he kind of hit me with that question on accountability. And I said, okay, I'll do something about it. I came
Hmm.
back end of April, and as I observed and got aware that I was once again getting into that cycle of sleeping until late, etc. I said no. Before it becomes a concrete habit once again, I have to break it. So I didn't give myself much of an option. I put out a poll on my Facebook page saying, guys, do you want me to do videos for my course? Because I sincerely respect my circle of genius, as I call them, and I said, guys, what do you want me
So
to do?
cute.
And they said yes. And for me, it was more like when you ask a question and you get an answer, you have to respect that answer.
Hmm.
You can't just say, yeah, I asked, but this is more convenient for me, because
Wow.
then it kind of rubbishes the whole conversation of accountability, right? So I said yes, they said yes, so I have no other option but to start doing it. By day three, I was already in tears because I had picked a code that was a little emotionally heavy. And as I spoke of it, I was tearing up. My voice was all trembly, but I went through, I pushed through. There were some people who were watching who knew why I was that way. They supported me, and it just went on. And here I am.
So, this is a question that comes personally from me. I mean, Joy, and that's why I just leaned on, to ask you this question. My body language totally changed. I mean,
Yeah.
knowing that it was so difficult for you, knowing that it would have been one of the most hardest tasks for you to get up from your sheets and do something because, someone had asked you, someone very dear and near to you to ask you to be accountable for whatever you're doing. I mean, that whole process, how difficult was it for you, Rukia, to even just probably accept it as well that you've got to do something for your life and you've got to be accountable for yourself?
Great question, Tanya. I have no clue what I would have done had this question come to me from anyone else. I have two children. My daughter, I say, is my cheerleader. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
my business, Smiletastic, has been named by her. So Smiletastic
Now,
comes from Ida. And the question on
I was about
accountability.
to ask you that question, but don't give us an explanation more about that. I'm going to give a very cringy question over here. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So, as I was saying, two of them, one is my cheerleader and the other is my mirror. So he quite
Mm.
literally asks me those difficult questions. I don't know, he's just that person that I go to and I feel a little confused. And when I do go to him, he throws these crazy questions at me or gives me these examples where I feel like, this is where he's taking me. So, and so the two different personalities, and they kind of, I feel very, anything and everything I do comes from a space of knowing that they're watching me.
Mm.
There are times when I'm doing my Wise Wednesdays, they're up at 4 at 3 a.m. in Australia watching. And me being mummy will be like, if they leave a comment, they'll go, "You guys are awake?" Is what I'll ask in the middle of the interview. They'll be like, "Mom." So, moral of the story is sometimes it does take somebody to ask you that difficult question.
Mm.
And some of us are lucky that we have people around us who observe and take that liberty to push you and ask you. And sometimes it's just us who has to ask ourselves that question.
With this, Rukia, I really want to ask you this. It's something that's really bugging my mind a bit right now. I mean, it's okay
Please.
that there's the universe sometimes do ask us that question. Like there is that universe, that there's one person or there's something around it that just makes us ask that question. But isn't it more important that how aware we are to even just listen to that question? Because sometimes there's so many signals that the whole universe, that the people around us who really love us through that question at us, but we are not aware that the question is being asked. So while where that question that was pushing upon you by your son, do you think that you were aware that the question is being asked to you? Like how did that awareness suddenly come to you?
Um, hmm. Let me think this through. Uh, I
I
think
think this is a really good question to ask you right now.
it is absolutely. I mean, it's so good that I didn't even say it's a good question. I went straight to the thought because I didn't want to lose it. For me,
No problem. Yeah, tell
the
me.
fact that I resisted his question
Hmm.
and the fact that I resisted the question of what have you been up to
Hmm.
meant for me that there was a level of guilt already existing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for me, that was the realization. I'm a very action driven person. I mean, for me, I keep pushing one step after the other. So even when I did my TEDx talk, I wasn't ready. I wasn't a trained orator or a Toastmaster, nothing of the sort. All I knew was I had a story, I had to share it. And I was looking for the right platform. Big fan of TEDx, so I said I would love to do a TEDx talk. I just put it on my bucket list saying I will do this someday.
Hmm.
And when the opportunity came, I said yes.
That's amazing.
Um,
I mean, I understand. In within your heart, you were somewhere aware that this is happening to you, and you've got to take action for it,
yes.
right? I mean, I wish all of us do have that. I always tell whenever I'm talking to people or I'm talking to the people who are getting coached by me, I always tell them that the answer really lies within you. I mean, I'm just asking you the tough question that's needed here, but the answer is already there within you. Just to be aware of it, that it's actually there. You don't have to push for yourself with other people. Okay, some XYZ person is going to tell you this answer and you're just going to agree to it, because that's not it. That person doesn't know you better than you know yourself.
Yep. Um, it's interesting that you asked me this question today because my quote for today's daily live was about you tend to escape when the truth is uneasy. You
That's
look
true.
to escape, right?
That's so
So
much.
when it is, it's when the truth, because when he asked me that question of what have you been up to, it was just a random question perhaps, but deep inside I knew I was up to nothing. I knew I was kind of running away from what I can do and contribute. And so
I
that created some uneasiness for me and I wanted to escape it.
That's so true. That's actually that's what you said is it's pretty much true, and I think all of us tend to do that. I don't know why it's the harsh, bitter truth, but we actually tend to do that. So bringing out a little lighter note, we've just got to know Rukia, we've got to know about her coaching practices. Let's go on a lighter note. Tell me about that smiley that you have right out there. What is it about? Yes.
Okay, so this one particularly comes from the Prime Minister's office, um,
Oh.
the regional Prime Minister's office. UAE actually celebrates World Happiness Day. We have a Ministry
Uh-huh.
of Happiness.
Oh.
So yeah, we do. So we had something called the Happiness Carnival where I was invited to speak.
Hmm.
And though I was down in the dumps, when somebody calls you from the Prime Minister's office and says, "Please come and speak about the smile," you show up. You don't say, "I'm feeling low." You turn up.
I'm pretty sure about
So
that.
yes, yeah. So when I got invited to speak at the Happiness Carnival held by the Prime Minister's office, I showed up, I presented, and the smiley comes from there. So I wear it quite literally anytime I'm at a speaking occasion. I kind of wear it to celebrate that achievement, to remind myself if I can do that, I can do this.
Wow. So does the smile tastic comes from this reason? I mean, what is the reason? Because I don't
Okay,
understand the badge you wear.
okay. So once again, the company, the name in my head, okay, up until 2 years ago, I hadn't established myself as a company, as an, I was delivering stuff, but as an organization, as a business, I hadn't set it up. Um, Now the thing was, I would like to have set it up. Obviously, a business needs to have a name. So I thought, what can it be? And Smile began suddenly to be that thing that I always spoke about. SMILE is an acronym that was created when I did my TEDx talk. The mindset training I do is called Smile to Move Forward. It's a 5-step process that gets people feeling stuck to unstuck. So obviously, to establish or to kind of put the business down on paper and to have a title, once again, I asked my circle of genius. I said, should it be Smileology or should it be Smiletastic? And Smiletastic again was the name recommended by my daughter. So we put it out there, and once again, Smiletastic won. I think it was a 50-50, but obviously because Smiletastic was suggested by Aida, I said, we do Smiletastic. And what I realized was it was something very catchy. It was something unique. It was Smile is me, because quite literally I get people sending me pictures of the smile emoji and everything, saying, "Hey, I saw this and thought of you." It's that branding, that synonymous has had begun to happen much earlier on. So I said, okay, smile, feel fantastic, smile tastic.
Huh.
That's how it
That's great. That's great. So, Rukia, how do these ideas actually come to you? Is it really who you are, or is it something like someone suggests you, like your daughter, that you say that she's probably the mirror for you, and the other set of geniuses that you have around you, you call them. But then, how do these ideas actually come to you? Is it really truly who you are?
It is. I'm driven very powerfully by my intuition, by my gut. I do what feels right to me. So whether it, as I said, the TEDx talk, I wasn't a speaker, yet having done that, I got my smile acronym. I designed it. It changed who I was as a person. I mean, obviously, from just a master practice NLP, I moved on to be a trainer, a mindset trainer. Began to deliver these sessions and workshops around the world. Now into coaching. I incorporate it into the coaching conversations too, the 5 steps. So the whole idea is, Tanya, to just be very aware and to be very, what should I say? I am to listen carefully when life talks to you.
You are what? I'm sorry, I missed it. What?
I said it's important to listen carefully when life talks to you.
That's true, and that's why it just come up to me when I told you this, that it's okay that you listen. You've got to listen to what something the universe may be trying to tell you. Your people are trying to tell you. People are important to you, trying to tell you. But then, how aware are you of that listening really matters, and that's what I guess all of us really miss. And do you think there's any way or a method to be actually aware of people trying to tell you something? Do you suggest any way of being that awareness?
Um, I guess here as well, the smile acronym comes into play, where the first thing is to be mindful of what you're thinking. The most important thing for me is, what am I thinking? What is going on in my head? What are the conversations? What are the thoughts? Um, So,
Yeah, I can
yeah,
hear you.
yeah. So S stands for silencing the mind, as in understanding what is essentially happening in your head. What are the thoughts? What are the conversations? And just respecting them. A lot of times when some negative chatter comes up, we tend to rubbish it or we tend to pretend it's not there. You know, when we look at envy, we look at jealousy, we look at those darker shades of us. Each one of us has all the values, the good and the bad. So just take an apple for an apple. I mean, don't kind of change an apple into an orange because that's the right thing to do. If you are feeling angry about something, if you are feeling bitter or upset about something, then acknowledge it, accept it, even have gratitude for it. Take it a level up. Have gratitude for a bad feeling and say, okay, what are you here to teach me? What could I possibly learn from this situation? And then just move on. So it's for me, I guess, to answer your question, how do I do this? I don't know, to be honest, but I'm very, very aware. I listen to myself very clearly. I acknowledge my feelings, good and bad. I'm not a saint. I have bad days too. I get upset with situations and people. um, and if I am getting upset, I want to understand what is it that it triggered within me. Why? Why did I get upset? What triggered me? Why did I kind of go outside the good girl definition that we have for ourselves?
That's so beautiful. I mean, I feel pretty motivated. I don't know why it feels like so positivity, even though you're like miles and miles apart. I mean, but then there's a sense of positivity that's coming out of like in my heart and my entire body that I just want to get up and do something, probably
Good.
like do something different, do something that probably makes me happy and not suffer the way I said starting. I mean, this is
Absolutely.
amazing. It out like really amazing, and the way
Thank
you
you.
describe this whole gratitude. I've actually heard a lot about this from your pages, like the way you describe how important it is to be gratitude. I have seen that a lot on your page, and I've seen a lot of you speaking about it as well. So, what is this whole connection of you with gratitude?
Uh, I might be the only speaker who started my TEDx talk with the word Alhamdulillah.
Mm,
And Alhamdulillah means praise be to Allah, as in you're having gratitude for what has been given to you. So
mm, mm,
most of the time, we feel that we have to have gratitude for the good things in life, and that's it. There's no further conversation. I want to take it a level up and say, have gratitude even for the bad times
mm,
because they made you strong. Have gratitude for
mm,
the bad times because they showed you who you are.
mm,
They taught you who your people are. You
mm.
know, people tend to disappear on you when times are bad. I've heard that. I've seen that. But I've also noticed those who stayed.
Mm.
So when you can have gratitude for the good and the bad, that's when the entire conversation changes.
Wow. I mean, I wish I can also inculcate that in my life because, I mean, knowing this is such a tough time for all of us. This is something that was totally unexpected for all of us that's happening around. None of us even had thought about in our wildest dreams that anything like this is going to come around. And I see people being so bogged down, they're so negative, they feel sad towards the situation. But then the will and the readiness to move forward is what makes them different from the rest of the people around. And I think that's what you actually tell us from your story as well, because situations can be bad, situations can be awful around, but then what matters is that you listen to the voice that's going to come up to you, you are aware of it, and you take action towards it. The way you say that you're very particular in taking actions, you're an action oriented person, right? Am I right here?
Yes, you are.
That's just amazing. I mean, apart from all of this, Rukia, I mean, I would really like to know what is other than all of this, Rukia Khan, who is she probably? Apart from all of these being your RK rights as a coach and all of this, apart from this, who is she?
Who is she? She's Papa ki beti.
Ah, so
That's it.
cute. Is
That's
it?
all. And I hope my mom doesn't watch this. But
I can relate to this, okay? Because I'm the only kid of my parents, and I am so attached to my father. I keep telling to my father. I keep telling this to my mother, and my mother is like, okay, I gave you birth and that's it. My work is done. I mean, you're just only for your father. I completely understand. Are you being emotional
my
right
mom,
now?
my mom understands it as well. I was just kidding, but she definitely understands it, and um I mean I'm sure she has no qualms about it. She knows mothers know our hearts.
Yeah. Are you being emotional right now, Rukia?
No.
It's completely fine to be emotional. I mean, that's what these conversations are about, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So all
Um,
kind of
I've never I've never really ever held back from being vulnerable. As I said,
mm,
I'm quite literally transparent. I share what I'm feeling without the fear of being judged, and that's what makes
mm,
this. That's why I call my platforms my circle of genius, because these are the guys who know me as I am, and even in other spaces, I be who I am because I feel it's only when you are yourself, the other person's also comfortable to be themselves. They don't feel
that's
intimidated or they don't feel the need to kind of be another person. You just be yourself.
that's actually very true. And I mean, what's there to hide, right? These small emotions that do describe us, that defines us as who we are. And there's no shame of telling people that who we are actually.
Absolutely. Do agree.
So on the final note to leave our viewers, if there's anything that like you would like to end the note on saying, something that you want the viewers to take back from this conversation, what's that you like to say?
I'd like to emphasize on kindness. I'd like to emphasize on being kind to yourself. Um, So the visual that I have of this phase that we're going through is that of us being on a train where we're passing through this tunnel. So and you can compare this metaphor to anything, to the coaching conversation, to relationships, to loss, to the pandemic. The idea is when you're in a train and you're going through these mountainous areas. So at one point, you're watching the greenery, the beautiful, the scenic outside from your window, the blue skies, the greenery, and everything else. And then comes a tunnel
Mm,
that you don't know how long it is. It's just suddenly from the beautiful outside, you go into this pitch darkness.
mm,
And in that darkness, everything that comes in through the window is very amplified.
mm,
It, it's scary even, and it
mm.
begins to echo. All the information that you get from outside begins to echo and boom and scare you. So the best thing to do in that situation is just to stay put,
Mm,
is to go within, to see what you can do in the time, to realize who are the people sitting with you on the train, to be mindful of them without disturbing them. Just be mindful of where they are sitting, what are they doing, how are they feeling. Maybe even talk to them if need be. But just to make sure that you don't get up, panic and shake things around and fall down, hurt yourself, hurt somebody else. Staying put is the most important thing. So as we move forward through the tunnel, we will emerge the other side.
mm.
Even in a coaching conversation, you will emerge on the other side where there's light, there's possibility, there's something to look forward to. But during this time, the stretch where it's dark, it's important for you to just be silent and kind to yourself. Don't rush things.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. And I guess that's why the way I said, like, we like to attend to partnerships. I don't know for what reasons. And when you're being kind to yourself and to the others as well, there's a positivity that influence around you, and that's that whole positivity is so amazing. It makes me so happy. way you describing the picture is. I mean, the whole picture itself is like so beautiful the way you describe it.
Absolutely. So you have to be kind to yourself. You can't rush in any moment because as much as we think we're in charge, we're not.
I was recording because due to network, I don't know what.
Yes.
Do you hear me? I'm just
So
gonna keep it like this, maybe. I could not hear you at all.
okay. So what I was saying was, it's important to stay kind and you can't rush the
Mm.
process because as much as we think that we're in charge, we're not. There's a larger force that's driving the train. There's a larger there's somebody that we can't really put a name on, that we all connect with source, with universe, with God in our own respective ways, and he's in charge. So just be kind to
That's so
yourself
true.
and trust the process.
That's so true. That's so true. I mean, I just wonder how wonderful and like, beautiful you can be with your words. It's like so charming.
Thank you, as are
Thank
you.
you so much, Rukia. Thank you so much. This was so. I mean, I wouldn't say this was like amazing or something. I just want to say this was cute. This was
Thank
so
you
cute
very
to
much.
have a conversation. It was like the cutest conversation that I've ever had.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Thank you for
Thank you.
hosting me. Thank you.
Oh,
Means a lot.
I'm hosting on your platform, so I'm just going to be like grateful to you today. That's all I'm
Thank
going
you.
to say.
Thank
Your
you.
thoughts were
Take
so
care.
pure. The way you put out your emotions were like so pure. It just shows that how candid you are, how candid you are in terms of the conversation. And I mean, I just love it. I've just found this conversation to be cute. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rukia, to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care. Oh, one second. Before going,
Yes.
I want you to do the hello, hello, yours, please.
I want to what?
Hello, hello. What do you say?
Ah, okay. So hello, hello to whoever's watching right until the end.
that is the signature, and I love about Rukia the way she does it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for
Bye.
tuning in. And if you are catching up on the replay, just leave us a comment. And thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Rukia. Bye bye.
Bye bye.